The following video was recorded by a group of guys who were out in the woods one night, just taking photos. The kind of casual late-night outing where nothing feels out of the ordinary, flashing pictures of the trees, the dark clearing, each other goofing around. Nobody noticed anything off until they got home and started going through the shots. Watch. In the photograph of the dark forest clearing, right there between the tree trunks, something pale is peeking out from behind the bark, and when the image is brightened and zoomed in, it becomes harder to dismiss. It looks like a slender, almost bone-white hand, fingers visibly wrapped around the edge of the trunk, as if something was standing just out of frame, watching them. Nobody in the group was unaccounted for at the time of that shot. Some compared it to folklore, surrounding forest spirits, entities said to observe travelers from behind trees without ever fully revealing themselves. Across many cultures, forests have long been associated with hidden watchers, beings that remain just outside direct view, visible only in glimpses before disappearing back into the landscape. Others think it's pareidolia, a trick of light on fungus or bark texture, but others insist the shape is far too defined and deliberate. If you look at the fingers, there's a specificity to them that fungus doesn't typically produce. So what was standing in those woods with them? In this next clip, a man is alone at night in what appears to be a dimly lit industrial space, and from the sound of things, something outside that closed metal door very much wants his attention. He's been watching the security monitors, a grid of at least 16 feeds covering the outdoor yard, when a series of heavy, rhythmic bangs suddenly strikes the door right next to him. Watch.
Tao xin mày đó, mày bẹo cỏ chim mọi người. Đi mày. Nam mô Di Đà Phật. Trước có phòng thủ đấy mà. Nam mô Di Đà Phật. Nam mô Di Đà Phật. Phải đánh hết cái người trực cơ luôn đó. Ý mày. Nam mô Di Đà Phật. Nam mô Di Đà Phật.
The banging is hard and deliberate, 3 strikes in fast succession against the metal, and the man's breathing immediately shifts into something closer to panic as he swings the camera toward the CCTV monitor instead of opening the door. Smart decision, honestly, because as he zooms in on one of the outdoor feeds, he notices something strange. A trash bin moves. No person appears beside it, and no obvious source for the movement is visible anywhere on the screen. Of course, there is no way to verify whether the knocking and the moving bin are connected, but viewers couldn't help noticing how perfectly the events complement each other. Something bangs on the door. He refuses to answer. Then something moves across the yard instead, almost as though whatever was outside realized it had failed to lure him into opening the door and decided to make itself known another way. Whether that's an overactive imagination, a coincidence, or something genuinely unexplained is up to you. But if the trash bin wasn't moved by a person, then what exactly was trying so hard to get his attention from the other side of that door? Quick thing before we continue, all of our videos are now available on Spotify too, so if that's somewhere you already find yourself late at night, every compilation we've made is waiting there for you. Whichever way you'd rather watch, the link's in the description. Now back to the video. The following clips were recorded by a man who's been documenting what he calls a weird entity living inside the sheds on his property, and over the course of 3 separate recordings, things go from unsettling to outright terrifying. In the first clip, he's walking through his cluttered garage shed in the middle of the day, pointing out tools and leftover junk from the previous owner, when he notices an interior door sitting slightly ajar, one he says he'd slammed shut in a prior video. That detail alone stops him cold. He makes his way through a second, smaller shed and eventually climbs a wooden ladder up into a dark attic space, yelling directly at whatever might be up there, challenging it, daring it to respond. Watch.
Hey! I'm over it! You hear that, you piece of shit? I'm over it! Get out of my house! You hear me? Oh, you're not saying nothing today, bitch, are you? Are you? Are you? Huh? You ain't saying nothing today, bitch. Where you at? Where you at? Because I do not care anymore. What's up? Where you at? Where you at? Huh? Nothing? Yeah, you don't want to talk shit today? That's what I thought. That's what I thought, pussy. Didn't want to say shit. Of course, man. Of course. Of course. I'm over it. I got a different energy now. That thing. I'm telling you what. This thing has been drawing me in. I have been standing at this window in my kitchen, staring out of this window right here in this shed. I have sat here. It's like it's drawing me in. I'll sit there, wake up late at night, come down the stairs, stand at that sink, or look out of that bathroom window and just stare at this shed. Watch it. Molly, you want to come in? Yeah. Well, if that doesn't tell you, I don't know what does.
As he descends the ladder, a faint, 2-syllable whisper, something that sounds very much like "come back," is captured on audio. It's barely there, the kind of sound you'd miss if you weren't listening for it, but once you hear it, it's difficult to unhear. And then there's Molly. Dogs reacting to unseen presences is one of the most consistently reported details across paranormal cases. Animals are often cited as being sensitive to frequencies and stimuli beyond human perception, and her refusal to enter that shed is the kind of behavioral detail that's hard to explain away with coincidence. Some viewers immediately pointed to poltergeist activity, given the escalating nature of the disturbances. Others think whatever left behind the previous owner's belongings may have been stirred up by the plan to get rid of them, almost as if the entity has a territorial attachment to those objects. So he set up a ring security camera inside the shed to catch whatever was happening when he wasn't there. And what it recorded is something else entirely. Take a look. A white interior door swings open on its own. Then, with nobody visible in the frame, bangs start echoing through the shed. A small dark object is thrown from the open doorway. Old-fashioned instrumental music begins playing from no apparent source, and then a wooden plank is violently hurled across the room, before being lifted straight back up and pulled out of frame by something you cannot see. A guttural moan follows, then rapid, heavy footsteps, 2 sharp metallic taps, and finally, a loud scream. The level of violence in that footage is what separates it from a slowly opening door or a faint whisper. This is full-scale, aggressive poltergeist behavior, the kind associated in paranormal research with an active, intelligent presence rather than residual energy. Residual hauntings tend to be passive, impressions of past events replaying on a loop, like an echo. But what the Ring camera caught wasn't passive. Objects were thrown with intention, lifted and repositioned, and the music playing from an unknown source adds a layer of deliberate strangeness that's genuinely difficult to rationalize. He went up into the attic afterward and found broken name signs reading Mr. and Mrs. Ronald J. The surname snapped clean off, along with a shattered Rolex, shot glasses etched with the name of Sweetbriar College, a women's institution in Virginia, and a tie clip. Items belonging to people whose names and histories are now partially erased. Whether that matters to whatever is in that shed is impossible to say, but a lot of viewers think disturbing those belongings, or planning to sell them off, might be exactly what escalated the activity. That's where the third clip picks up, and by this point, he's barely holding it together. Watch.
I don't even know what to do. I'll take any help, any recommendations. I know there's been a lot of comments and stuff. The door's wide open, man. I know there's been a lot of comments and requests and everything to try to help me out. I'll take it. I'll take any advice I possibly can. Let me show you guys. I don't have any outlets up there. And this is all I can do. Look, all I can do is run that right here and set it down. That's the best I can get for Ring cameras to try to reach up here. So, man, I'm almost in tears, bro. Like, I'm almost in tears. It looked like something ripped a hole in there. I'm gonna have to look back in videos and see if that thing was ripped like that.
He's back at the shed, and he's filming himself pointing up at the dark attic opening when he notices something new, a torn hole in the insulation that wasn't there before. Something ripped through it. Whatever is up in that attic, it's made itself known 3 times now across these recordings, through a whisper, through thrown objects and phantom music, and now through sounds that don't belong to any animal he's identified. So what exactly is living in that shed, and how much longer before it decides to come down? The following video was recorded at night by a man alone in his home, and what makes it so difficult to shake isn't something he saw, but something he heard. He's filming from what appears to be a room at one end of a narrow hallway, the kind of corridor that feels longer when you're standing at one end in the dark. According to him, the voice he's about to capture is his own, his exact voice, calling to him from somewhere deeper in the apartment. Listen closely.
Come here. Come here. Come here. Okay. Come here. Come here. What I told you. Come here. Fuck.
Over and over, something repeats, "Come here," from an unseen location down the hall, and then shifts to "what I told you," distant, echoey, and completely separate from his own audible reaction of "what the hell?" caught close to the mic. That contrast is what sells it. His voice is right there, sharp and close. The other voice sounds like it's calling from somewhere it shouldn't be able to reach. Some viewers immediately landed on the idea of a mimic, an entity that, in many paranormal traditions, is said to replicate a person's voice or appearance precisely to lure them somewhere. The unsettling part of that theory isn't just the imitation, it's the intent behind it. "Come here," repeated that many times, isn't random. It sounds like something trying to draw him out. Skeptics argue a speaker or a planted recording could produce exactly this effect, but the timing of his reaction and the acoustic difference between the two voices makes that harder to dismiss outright. Then things escalated. This is part 2. Filmed the same night in the same space, and now he's standing outside a closed white door, listening to what's happening on the other side. His cat is in the apartment, but he's already saying it isn't the cat. Watch.
Okay, I don't know what you're doing. You can literally hear that. You can literally hear that. No. What the fuck? My God. What the fuck? No.
The sounds behind that door build from scraping and scuffling into something frantic, dragging, rapid movement, what sounds like something throwing itself around, until it becomes aggressive, banging against the door itself, fast and repeated. Then the door opens. The hallway is quiet. His small black cat is standing there, perfectly still. Whatever was making that noise had no obvious source. The banging alone was loud enough that it's hard to reconcile with the calm scene revealed a second later. And now he's in a hallway where, moments earlier, something was calling his name. That's a difficult place to stand. This next video was recorded by a static security camera inside what looks like an attic bedroom or playroom, and the timestamp puts this at just before 8 p.m. on November 22nd of 2022. The room is quiet, a desk, a chair, a large stuffed animal sitting upright, a crawl space door along the slanted left wall. Nothing unusual, at least at first. Then, without any breeze or visible disturbance, the stuffed animal begins to slump forward. Watch.
So this happened.
The toy falls from the chair, and at the exact same moment it hits the floor, that small white crawlspace door swings open on its own, slow and deliberate, revealing nothing but darkness behind it. Some believe something was moving through that room, interacting with objects in sequence, as if testing boundaries. Others think the timing between the toy falling and the door opening is too precise to be coincidental, like cause and effect, except nothing visible caused either one. Whatever was in that crawl space that night, it didn't stay hidden for long. The following video was recorded by a lady and her friend Josh, who decided to experiment with a Ouija board and film the entire session. At first, nothing unusual happens as their fingers rest lightly on the planchette, asking questions into the quiet room, waiting for any kind of response. For nearly 20 minutes, everything seems still until this happens. Watch.
Blow out a candle if you're here. Right then.
Lol.
Maybe he's not here. Oh, we're assuming it's gender. Are you male or female?
Yeah. Are you male or female? Are you both?
Are you a male? What was that?
It's probably just a house creaking.
No. Oh my god. No.
No,
No.
right. Close
No.
that door. Close
Oh my
that.
god.
door.
Oh my god.
Close that door.
Nah. I'm gone. No, I'm not.
Without warning, a door behind them slowly opens on its own. She quickly gets up, clearly shaken, and walks over to close it. But another door suddenly slams shut with force, louder, sharper, and impossible to ignore. Ouija boards have long been associated with attempts to contact spirits. Many believe they don't just allow communication, they act as invitations. Invitations for something unseen, to step closer, to listen, and sometimes to follow. What makes situations like this especially concerning is one rule that experienced users always warn about. Never remove your fingers from the planchette without properly ending the session by saying goodbye. According to paranormal belief, saying goodbye isn't symbolic. It's a way of closing whatever was opened. Without it, the connection is believed to remain active, leaving whatever answered free to linger. And in this video, viewers noticed something disturbing. When the door first opened, both friends instinctively pulled their hands away from the board. There was no clear goodbye, no closure, just fear and distance. She later explained that after the recording ended, they did say goodbye and threw the board away, hoping that would end everything. But many believe once something responds, simply throwing the board away doesn't undo the invitation, because sometimes the board isn't what brings it in. It's the moment you asked it to come. In this next clip, two friends decide to explore the basement of Danvers State Hospital. They enter through the rear loading garage and slowly make their way down the long, dimly lit corridor toward the front of the building before turning back. The place is quiet, too quiet, the kind of silence that feels heavy rather than empty. But while they were walking, something else may have been down there with them, and although their eyes didn't catch it in the moment, the camera did. Watch. If you look closely, you can see what appears to be a figure walking past. Now, some viewers believe it could be a homeless person who simply didn't want to be noticed. But then there's the location. Danvers State Hospital has a long and unsettling history. Originally opened in the late 1800s as a psychiatric facility, it's been surrounded by rumors for decades, stories of harsh treatments, overcrowding, and patients who never left. Explorers have claimed to hear disembodied footsteps in empty corridors, whispers in the basement, and shadow figures moving between doorways long after the hospital shut down. So was this a person moving quietly in the dark? Or could it be something tied to the building's past, still walking the halls it once knew? I'll let you decide. Now in this next video, a woman who enjoys collecting haunted dolls captures something unbelievable. Watch this. At first glance, you must have assumed the obvious: faulty wiring, hidden batteries, or some kind of built-in mechanism. But after looking closely and seeing that there are no batteries inside, you start to wonder. Collectors who specialize in haunted objects often believe certain items can act as vessels. Dolls, in particular, are thought to be ideal because of their human-like form. They have faces, eyes, and bodies, something that, according to paranormal belief, makes it easier for a spirit to attach, observe, and even express itself. Some collectors say they have experienced dolls changing position, making sounds, or even appearing in different rooms without explanation. But this is exactly why so many people can't stand them. There's something deeply unsettling about an object that looks human but isn't alive. Something that can sit silently for years and then suddenly move when no one touches it. It creates the feeling that it isn't just an object anymore, but something aware, something present. And moments like this only deepen that fear. Because if there are no batteries, then what exactly made it move? Until more updates are shared, this remains unsolved. The following video comes from a man who, for weeks, kept waking up to find his kitchen in complete disarray. Cabinets left slightly open, utensils on the floor, and containers knocked over. At first, he blamed rats. It was the only explanation that made sense, especially living in an area where rodents weren't uncommon. But something about it didn't sit right with him. Some of the objects being moved were heavy, solid containers, and things that would require real force to push off the counter. Still, he tried everything: traps, repellents, sealing entry points. And yet, every morning, the mess kept coming back. Eventually, he decided to install a camera in his kitchen, hoping to finally catch whatever was responsible. And what he captured left him shaken. Watch this. The movement doesn't look like the items were unstable, then fell. It looks more like something unseen is standing there, choosing what to move next. Some believe this could be a poltergeist, a type of entity known not for appearing, but for interacting physically with the environment. Unlike apparitions that are only seen briefly, poltergeists are often associated with repeated disturbances, objects being pushed, thrown, or displaced without warning. And the kitchen, being a central and active part of any home, often becomes a focal point. What makes this more unsettling is the pattern. This wasn't a one-time incident. It happened repeatedly, night after night, almost like whatever was there had grown comfortable, confident enough to act openly. He fears this is only the beginning, so we can only hope he gets all the help he needs. Unlike the man in the previous clip, who is still searching for answers, this man says he already knows what he's dealing with. For months now, he's been living with what he believes is the spirit of a child. It started with light footsteps running across the hallway when no one else was home, toys he didn't own appearing in different places, and soft giggling late at night, the kind that stops the moment he tries to follow it. Sometimes, he even hears laughter echoing from empty rooms, playful but wrong. He's done everything he could think of. He's cleansed the house, he's performed last rites to make whatever is there move on peacefully, but nothing has worked. And now, the activity has started to escalate. Watch this. First, the kitchen cabinet. Then you can hear something giggle, and then comes the moment that truly terrifies him. For a split second, something that looks like a small hand appears, and there's no way anyone could fit into that cabinet. Many believe that childlike spirits can be deceptive, and they don't always present themselves as harmless. The laughter, the runny, the playful noises, it creates the illusion of something harmless, until it isn't. So what do you think? Is he really being haunted by something childlike? Or is there some logical explanation we're missing? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. In this next clip, a guy and his friend are playing card games, enjoying what was supposed to be a normal, quiet night, when suddenly, the bathroom door starts doing this.
Bueno, te dejo primero. Listo, te regalaste. Truco.
Quiero. No, dale, boludo.
No le des bola, no le des bola, no le des bola porque es peor.
No,
No le des bola, ¿qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? Son las 3 de la mañana.
Las 3 de la mañana.
Siempre arranca los redes, no le des bola. Hacé cuenta no pasa nada porque si no es peor, boludo.
No, dale, Lean, a mí me da miedo.
No le des bola. Dale, dale, juega, boludo, dale. No es nada, son ruidos nomás.
No, ni en pedo eso por la aguja de mierda esa me hiciste jugar otra vez.
Si salió re mal, ni nos contactamos, dale, juega. Ahí está, para,
Dale, boludo. No,
apaga la luz.
No, no apagué nada.
Apaga la luz.
No, no apagué nada.
Apagala.
No, ya está.
Para.
Vámonos.
Para que le voy a preguntar.
No, apagué,
No seas
boludo.
cagón, para. ¿Por qué no quisiste hablar con nosotros ayer?
No pregunté nada.
Para.
Ya está.
Para que, a ver, vamos a probar, para. Manifestate si estás acá.
Ya está, boludo.
Ahí está.
Dale, boludo.
Entra,
No,
entra.
ni pedo, no.
Entra que yo le pregunto.
No, ni
Dale,
pedo.
entra, dale, no seas
No,
cagón.
yo no voy a entrar, yo me quiero
Dale, que es la
ir.
primera vez que me pasa estando con alguien, dale. Encima tengo todo grabado, para.
No grabé, ya
¿Por
está.
qué me estás molestando a mí?
No grabé, boludo, ya está, boludo, la mierda.
Para, no te vayas. Para.
No, dale, boludo, no, dale. En serio te digo.
Si te ayudo, ¿me dejas en paz? Para. Entra.
No,
Abrí
ni
la
pedo,
puerta.
No entro ni pedo. No, yo me quiero.
Para. ¿Cómo te saco de ahí? ¿Moriste hace mucho? Para, entra, ¿podemos entrar a verte? Entra, dale, para. Dale, no seas cagón, entra.
No, a mí me da recagazo.
Dale, por favor, entra.
Pero no me
Entra
dejes
que
solo, no
te
me
grabo de
dejes
acá.
solo.
Dale.
En serio.
Entra, boludo, dale. Prende la luz.
No, ni pe-
Pará, déjame a mí. Vení, déjame a mí. Pará. No hay nada, boludo. Vamos a salir, salí.
The handle begins shaking aggressively, like someone on the other side is desperately trying to get out. What makes this even more disturbing is the fact that the door isn't locked. With that much force on the handle, the door should open easily, but it didn't. More like whatever or whoever was there was trying to get their attention. According to the owner of the apartment, this wasn't the first time strange things had happened in that bathroom. He's heard violent banging on the same door before, and sometimes, late at night, he hears whispers coming from inside. Not random noises, but what sounds like actual conversations. Multiple voices speaking too quietly to understand, but clear enough to know something is there. But viewers pointed out one critical mistake. He opened the door. There's a long-standing warning repeated in paranormal circles. If something knocks, shakes, or tries to lure you into opening a door when you know no one should be there, you don't open it. Because sometimes, the act of opening the door is seen as an invitation. And then, a comment surfaced that made the entire situation even more unsettling. One viewer claimed to know the guy in the video through TikTok. According to them, the activity didn't stop. It got worse. Much worse that his behavior began to change. He became distant, erratic, and paranoid, like he was constantly being watched. And then one day, he disappeared. No warning and no explanation. Some people believe whatever was behind that door was a demon that attached itself to him and eventually broke him, which makes people wonder, what if he didn't open the door that night? Now, in this next clip, a woman shares the disturbing activity that's been happening inside her home, a house she lives in with her husband and her father-in-law. At first, the incidents were easy to ignore, but recently, the activity has become impossible to dismiss and seems to center around one specific place, her father-in-law's bedroom. Watch this.
Alright guys, some crazy stuff's been happening in my house. I'm trying to catch it on camera. The door shut like 5 minutes ago. I opened it back up. I'm gonna see if it'll do it again. Here we go. Oh shit. Oh my god, that was so crazy. I really didn't think it was gonna happen like that on cue. Jesus. Oh god. Why is my camera glitching out? Oh, that tends to happen when you get close to stuff, I guess. Okay, I just want to show you guys that no one's in here. No one's here but us. This is a closet. Let me try to turn the light on so you guys can see. Like, there's nothing in here, nobody in here. Like, what the fuck? Nobody under a bed. You can't see nothing. Ah! Oh my god. Holy shit. Oh my god. What the? And guys, I know my father-in-law did not just shut that fucking door. He's like 60 some years old, guys. Like, this stuff. And this is his bedroom, and he's scared to death. Like, he's been sleeping on the couch. And my brother's been sleeping in his bed. But this is crazy. What the? I don't know.
What makes this even more emotional is something viewers found in the room. Her father-in-law lost his wife years ago, and he still keeps a picture of both of them inside the bedroom, Some viewers believe this may not be something hostile at all. They believe it could be her, and that the door slamming could be her way of making herself known, not to harm, but to remind him that he isn't alone. Many believe that fear can create distance between the living and spirits who mean no harm, and instead of reacting with panic, some suggest she helps her father-in-law acknowledge the presence calmly, even speak to her, as a way of bringing peace to both sides. But others see something far more concerning. They warn that not every entity that appears in a familiar space is who it seems to be. Some entities are believed to mimic loved ones, using emotional attachment as a way to gain trust and remain close. The sudden, forceful movement of the door doesn't feel gentle or comforting. It feels aggressive, like something trying to assert control over the space. So if it isn't his late wife, then something else may have chosen that room for a reason. But as always, I'll leave you to be the judge. In this next video, a woman visiting a hospital captures something she didn't notice at the time. But once viewers saw it, it completely changed how the footage was understood. Watch this. If you focus on the right side of your screen, near one of the wards, something briefly peeks out. It's quick, almost cautious, like whatever it is doesn't want to be fully seen. And then, seconds later, it appears again, this time on the left side. What makes this more disturbing is what happens next. She immediately goes back to check those rooms herself, expecting to find maybe a nurse, a patient, or at least someone who had been standing there moments earlier. But when she looks inside, the rooms are empty. Hospitals are places where life and death exist side by side. Every hallway has seen moments of relief and moments of loss. Over the years, countless patients have spent their final hours inside rooms just like those. And many people believe that when someone passes suddenly or with unfinished emotions, their presence can linger, tied to the very place where they took their last breath. So what do you think she saw? A nurse stepping out of view at just the right moment? Or something that never really left those halls in the first place? In the following video, the man behind the camera keeps moving through what looks like a storage area, the kind of tight corridor where every box and shadow feels like it has weight. And you can tell he is already on edge as he scans each corner with the camera. He stops when he notices a door that should never be opened during the investigation, sitting cracked just enough to make the hallway feel wrong, and he slowly leans in to look behind it, even though the team is nowhere nearby.
La puerta se abre y se cierra sola.
Se está abriendo esa puerta. No hay nadie. Y por acá también se escucha ruido.
He finds the door opening a crack, so opens it and checks behind it just to see nothing. Because of this, he walks away and the door shuts by itself as a strange noise starts playing behind it, and he speed walks out of the hallway. The second that door slams, you can see his whole body tense, because that wasn't wind, and it definitely wasn't timing or coincidence. And the noise that follows sounds like something trying to push through the wall just to remind him he is not supposed to be there. His footsteps turn into a full speed walk that almost looks like he wants to run but refuses to make noise, and every few seconds he glances back like he expects the door to open again. Moments like that show exactly why investigators always say curiosity is one thing, but when the building answers you on its own, that is when you learn how fast fear can move. It was late enough that the local markets should have felt peaceful, but every shutter was pulled down tight and the whole place looked abandoned, except for May cutting through the empty rows. She knew the place was closed and shouldn't have held any noise at all, which is why the first faint scream stopped her in her tracks, sounding like someone crying out in pain from deep inside the metal-covered stalls. She followed it slowly, each step making the sound grow sharper and more desperate, until it felt like it was right beside her, but no matter where she turned, there was never anyone there.
Imagínate andar por la central de abastos y oír esto.
The screaming and crying keep getting louder as she walks, yet she can't find the source even when it sounds feet away. By the time she reached the end of the walkway, the noise was so overwhelming it felt like it was coming from the walls, and she spun around expecting someone to stumble out, but the shutters were sealed tight like they hadn't moved in hours. That was the moment she realized she wasn't chasing a person at all, and the way the sound cut off instantly once she stopped filming, almost like it knew she understood, made the silence after feel even worse. May had walked straight into something trying to be heard, and the fact that it never showed itself only made it clearer that she had been listening to a ghost. It happened late in the evening when the house was already settling into that quiet that makes every shadow seem a little thicker, and Charlie kept tugging at his dad's sleeve, saying there was a scary boy standing across the room staring at him. His dad brushed it off at first, calling it pretend, but Charlie wasn't smiling or joking. He just kept insisting the boy was real and he didn't want to be near him. Eventually, the dad told him to show where this scary boy was, so Charlie nervously walked with him through the hall and stopped at a doorway, pointing inside with his hands shaking like he expected something to move.
What are you saying, Charlie? There's a scary boy where? What do you mean? What, are you doing pretend? Yeah.
The following video was recorded by a man who had recently moved into an old house built back in 1912, a property with enough history behind it to already make him uneasy before anything strange even started happening. According to him, the previous tenant had suddenly left without much explanation, and after settling in, he began experiencing odd disturbances throughout the house that pushed him into researching the property's past. During a late-night spirit box session, one word reportedly kept coming through over and over again: fire. After digging deeper, he discovered that the basement of the house had been the site of an accidental fire sometime around 1965, a detail that suddenly made the atmosphere in the home feel a lot heavier. Then one night, while standing in a lit room looking down a dark hallway, he caught this on camera. Watch.
Look, it's my hand.
At the far end of the hallway, a guitar begins to sway on its own, slowly at first, before the movement starts growing stronger. Skeptics pointed toward possible drafts or airflow as the most logical explanation, but what unsettled viewers was how the motion seemed to build, almost like something unseen kept interacting with it. Paranormal theories surrounding old homes often connect fires to lingering energy, especially when the event was sudden or traumatic. Some believe places marked by tragedy can hold on to fragments of that moment for decades, replaying themselves through unexplained sounds, movement, or disturbances tied to certain parts of the house. And considering the repeated mention of fire during the spirit box session, many viewers think whatever is in that hallway may be connected to what happened in the basement all those years ago. Whatever started the movement, he never found the source. In this next clip, someone is walking through a property called the Green Manor, an old house with narrow winding staircases, dark reddish walls, a library with built-in shelves, and an upstairs room lined with antique dolls. And from the moment they point the camera at a teal wooden door in the hallway, something feels off. The door is slightly ajar, and the vintage oval doorknob on its brass backplate just sits there, still and quiet, the way doorknobs are supposed to. But then it starts to move. Watch. The knob jiggles, turns clockwise, and a sharp metallic click rings out as the latch fully disengages and the door swings open on its own. Nobody's on the other side. The person filming then pushes through, climbs the creaking staircase, and when they reach the top, they pan into a side room where a full church pew is lined end to end with at least a dozen porcelain dolls just sitting there, staring. Some people who've seen this footage think the doorknob moment is consistent with what's sometimes called a residual haunting, the idea that a location can essentially record repeated actions, like opening a door, and replay them without any conscious intent behind them. Others think something at the Green Manor is far more aware than that, pointing to the way the latch fully releases, a deliberate mechanical sequence, not just a rattle. Whether it's residual energy or something with intention, you be the judge. In this next clip, a family arrives at what looks like a spacious hotel suite, a large, well-lit room with high vaulted ceilings, a stone fireplace, a loft area, and a balcony with plenty of natural light coming through. Nothing about the space looks threatening, but the moment they reach the doorway of room 24, something happens that none of them were prepared for. Watch.
Come on, Mama!
Oh, she don't like this one. Wasn't expecting that. Dang, Big Mama. Is there something in here? We rebuke it, Kai Kai. We rebuke it. She said, Yeah. Yeah. It's shit on the toilet.
That's where you and Dad sleeping?
Mm-hmm.
I'll get that good.
There's nothing.
What?
Close it. I'll pull out bed. This is so nice.
You welcome. I hope y'all like it. I hope y'all got some energy because we're gonna be up all night.
She immediately starts screaming, no, crying loudly, and pulling away from the room, and she doesn't stop for the entire clip. What makes this so hard to dismiss is that the girl didn't calm down. There's a belief, fairly common in paranormal communities, that young children, especially toddlers, are far more sensitive to presence than adults because they haven't yet learned to rationalize away what they're feeling. You decide what that little girl was sensing at that doorway. Now in this next clip, a man is out in his shed during the day working on tools when he notices something that stops him cold. A sound coming from a dark attic space above a storage closet he says he's never once been up into. He grabs his phone and starts filming himself, panning the camera around the cluttered shed before pulling open a narrow closet door to show what's inside. Listen closely.
Me or not, I don't care, but listen to this. I'm out in the shed working on tools. Listen. Dude, I swear to God, there's something up in this attic, man. I'm not getting up in here and shit. Do you hear that? Dude, oh my God, bro. Oh my God, man. There's something in this neighborhood, dude. Oh my God. Dude, I don't know what to do in a situation like this. Do you hear this shit, man? This thing was built before I bought this house, man. I've never gone up here one time. What the fuck was that, man? There's stuff left from the previous owner. Oh. Oh my god, dude. Oh.
If you listen closely, you'll hear a baby crying, and it happens not once but multiple times, getting clearer and closer each time. The man's reactions are hard to fake. He slams the door, shouts, opens it again, keeps asking if you can hear it too. Then, when he finally works up the nerve to climb the ladder and hold the camera up into that dark space, the last sound he catches, right before the camera drops, is a clean, unmistakable cry of a baby coming from somewhere deep in that darkness. Some viewers think he has squatters in there, which, honestly, isn't impossible. Whatever was up there, he didn't stick around long enough to find out. So what do you think was making that sound? Now in this next clip, a paranormal investigator from Lakeshore Paranormal is in the basement of an old property at night, standing beneath a single bare bulb that cuts harsh shadows across the cinder block walls and exposed ceiling joists. He's got a spirit box scanning in one hand and what appears to be a detection device in the other, the constant static of the scanner cycling through frequencies filling the silence around him. He glances around the space, listening, waiting. Watch.
Not gonna leave until you give me a sign.
Movement back there. Shadow.
Saw me?
Shadow like came out from the where the heater is and went back the other way. I got it on video. You can see it. It was short. It was just like a shadow that came out from there.
Are you down here?
A shadow moved from right to left. What immediately sparked debate online was the way the figure seemed to move with shape and direction, not like a flicker of light or camera distortion, but like something physically crossing. Some viewers argued it could simply be a reflection caused by someone walking past a nearby window, but according to the investigators, they were completely alone on the property that night, with no one else inside or outside the building during the investigation. So if no one else was on that property that night, then what exactly walked behind him? Now in this next clip, someone is moving through a pitch-black house in the middle of the night, using nothing but a flashlight to cut through the darkness ahead of him. According to him, before he even started recording, he had already been hearing strange noises somewhere deeper inside the house, sounds unusual enough that he decided to grab his camera and trace where they were coming from. At first, he expected to find something simple, maybe a window left open, or an animal moving around inside the walls. But instead, he found this. Watch.
Right. Second date. It's been okay so far, but... What? This is what I mean. Crazy shit. Is it like... Hello? Oh my... Oh shit. Phone's upstairs. Oh my... I couldn't... I'm leaving the lights on. Look at this. I swear to... Right. Oh shit. Right. I need to go...
The lights suddenly begin flickering violently, throwing unstable flashes across the hallway, and just as he turns toward the staircase, something can be seen moving on the stairs, a dark shape shifting in the shadows before disappearing again. Some viewers believe the flickering lights could point toward electrical issues in an older property, but others focused entirely on the figure near the staircase, especially because in many old traditions, spirits or entities were said to linger near staircases because they symbolized movement between worlds, especially in darkened homes where visibility is limited and the human mind struggles to fully process shapes in shadow. So what do you think was waiting at the top of those stairs? The following video was recorded inside a home that's over 100 years old, using an old camera set up by a young man who was home alone and had noticed something he couldn't explain. Every time he left the room to vacuum, he'd come back and find the same bifold closet door standing wide open. No one else in the house, no obvious draft, nothing to account for it. So instead of just closing it again and moving on, he propped the camera on the floor, pointed it at the door, and went back to his vacuuming. The clip is silent, and that silence is part of what makes it so unsettling. Watch. The right panel of that bifold door begins to move, slowly, steadily, swinging open at a pace that feels almost deliberate, folding back until the closet is fully exposed. No one enters the frame, there's no rush of air, no person, no visible string or mechanism. If you watch the door's movement carefully, you'll notice it doesn't jerk or stutter the way a draft might cause. It moves with a kind of even, unhurried intention that's harder to dismiss. Some viewers familiar with residual haunting theory think older homes can develop patterns of repeated activity tied to whatever energy accumulated there over decades. But you be the judge. Now in this next clip, a man had been sitting alone at his kitchen table, reading from the Bible, not casually, but deliberately, the way someone does when they're trying to hold something back. He had a rosary laid out in front of him, a crucifix, and a small bottle of holy water. He says he picks up regularly from his local Catholic church. He mentions to the camera that he isn't feeling well, and before he starts reading, he anoints his forehead with the holy water and makes the sign of the cross. There's a weight to how he's going through these steps. Like a ritual, he's performed enough times that it's become routine rather than ceremonial. He settles in and begins reading aloud from Psalms 37, verses 3 through 11. Scripture about trust, about dwelling safely, about what faith is supposed to protect you from. But midway through the reading, something happened. Watch.
Inherit the earth. For yet a little while, and the wicked should be no more. Indeed, you will. Gosh! Holy. Bro. That just closed. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Any demon in my office, evacuate now. Look. That's my magic hat. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And my attic is closed. See? Huh. And it literally dropped my hat. That is crazy. You see, guys, this is what I gotta go through daily. Like literally, daily I gotta go through this crap. I'm so fed up with it.
The door in the background slams shut with a sharp, violent bang. What's harder to dismiss is what he finds on the other side. A baseball cap lying face down on the floor just inside the doorway, which he claims was not there before. He picks it up, shows the camera the front, and says the entity dropped it. He calls his attic door out specifically, showing it's secured with multiple slide locks, as if that detail is meant to explain something he doesn't want to say out loud. He ends the clip looking straight into the camera, exhausted, and says this is what he goes through daily. For those familiar with spiritual warfare theology, a violent physical reaction during scripture reading is considered significant. It's interpreted not as random haunting activity, but as direct interference, a presence responding to being named. So what was in that room with him? The following video was captured by a man who had already grown used to being woken up in the middle of the night by things he couldn't explain, to the point where it had become a routine, something he no longer questioned immediately, but instead documented, almost as if he knew that whatever was happening would eventually show itself on camera. Before this night, he had been dealing with faint knocks at odd hours, objects shifting slightly out of place, and moments where he would wake up feeling like someone had just been standing over him, watching, only for the room to be completely empty when he fully opened his eyes. Over time, it became harder to ignore, especially when he started hearing low sounds at night, scratching, dragging, and at times something that almost resembled breathing, close enough to feel real, but never visible long enough to confirm. So when it happened again that night, when a loud sound suddenly pulled him out of sleep, he reached for his phone, hoping to finally catch something clear enough to explain it all. What he captured instead only made things worse. Watch. The door creaks open first, slow and deliberate, with no one near it. Then a small black creature lunges onto the bed directly at him, letting out a shriek that doesn't sound like anything domestic, followed by a deep growl. Many would immediately label something like this as a demonic presence, and in many reported cases, it's said that when something like this begins to feel comfortable within a space, when it's no longer hiding or limiting itself to small signs, it can escalate even further, sometimes attempting to influence or even possess the person living there. In this next clip, a man in Chihuahua, Mexico, had been running a studio space he'd been using for work. A cluttered, horror-decorated room filled with vintage masks, a porcelain doll, and a large, ornate mirror. He'd already lost a week's worth of security footage because the cloud trial on his camera system expired before he could save anything locally. Then, on a Tuesday night, while he was away recovering from an eye injury, his security camera triggered a movement alert at 9:10 p.m. He ignored it at first. It wasn't until Thursday that he finally came back to check, and that's when things got harder to dismiss. Watch. The security camera, the kind set to tracking mode, begins panning slowly across the empty room on its own, as if following something invisible. Then, a door that was slightly ajar in the background swings fully shut with deliberate, unhurried force. The doll by your right also moved without anyone in sight touching it. When the man arrives with his handheld camera that same night, he walks to a corner of the floor near the desk, a floor he says he'd left spotless, and points the light downward. Have a look.
Un poco. Yo había dejado limpio. Y hay unas huellas ahí. Esos días hizo bastante frío, hizo mucho frío. Bueno, para que alguien anduviera descalzo, lo dudo mucho. Para la gente de aquí de Chihuahua sabe que no se puede andar uno descalzo en la calle. Y luego miren, yo calzo del 9. Ese pie es enorme, está muy, muy, muy grande. No es mi pie. O sea, la verdad sí está muy, muy grande el pie. Y le digo, oí pasos.
A large, dirty, barefoot print on the floor. He holds his own shoe next to it for comparison. He wears a size 9, and the print is noticeably bigger, both in length and width. There was no sign of forced entry, so from that point on, the debate around what's causing all of this only intensified. Some people are convinced the activity is tied to a large mirror he brought into the studio. According to him, the strange occurrences began almost immediately after the mirror arrived. In paranormal belief, mirrors are often considered portals, reflective surfaces believed to thin the boundary between spaces. Many cultures warn that mirrors can act as gateways, allowing entities to observe, attach, or even pass through. If that's the case here, it could explain the sense of being watched, the movement being tracked, and the idea that something is present without fully manifesting. But others believe the mirror isn't the source, it's the doll. Dolls act as vessels, not necessarily haunted at first, but capable of housing or attracting a presence over time. The fact that the doll moves during the footage and that disturbances seem more physical, doors slamming, objects shifting, leads many to think the doll is what's anchoring whatever is inside that studio. And then there are those who think it isn't one or the other, but both. Some believe the mirror may have opened the door, and the doll became the place where whatever came through decided to stay. Until more updates are shared, this remains unsolved. Now in this next clip, a couple decides to do something many people would strongly advise against. Sitting together in a darkened room, candles flickering around them as they place their hands on a Ouija board and ask whatever might be listening to make itself known. Watch. Before this moment, they had already experienced strange activity in their old apartment, which was located right next to a hospital, a detail that, for many people, immediately raises questions, because places like that are often associated with intense emotional energy, loss, and unresolved moments that some believe can linger. They reported hearing unexplained sounds, feeling watched, and noticing subtle disturbances they couldn't explain, which led them to wonder if something might have attached itself to them. So when they moved into their new place, instead of leaving it behind, they made a decision that would change everything, using the Ouija board to find out if whatever they had experienced before had followed them into this new home. Watch.
Anybody there? Is anybody there? Can you give us a sign? Can you give us a sign? Oh my god. There's no way. There's no way. Dude, there's nobody in here. There's nobody in here. What is going on? Oh.
Some viewers believe this confirms their fear, that something from their old apartment may have stayed with them, something that didn't leave when they moved. But others argue something far more unsettling, that it wasn't about something following them at all, but about what they may have invited in at that exact moment by choosing to use the board. And that's where the situation takes a more serious turn. Because people familiar with how these sessions are traditionally handled were quick to point out a critical mistake, something that might seem small but carries heavy implications in paranormal belief. The fact that they removed their hands from the planchette without properly closing the session or saying goodbye. According to those beliefs, that final step isn't optional. It's meant to close whatever line of communication has been opened by skipping it. Many believe they didn't just stop the session, they left it unfinished, leaving what some describe as an open doorway, something that doesn't simply close on its own. On another day, they decided to do it again.
Is anybody there? Is anybody there? No.
Jacob, we have to get out. We have to get out.
Moments like this are often used as examples when people talk about the risks tied to using a Ouija board, not because of what is guaranteed to happen, but because of what can happen when boundaries aren't understood or respected. The idea isn't just that something might respond, but that once that line is opened, it may not always be clear what exactly is responding, or whether it intends to leave when you're done. And that's the part many people overlook, because it's not always about whether something followed them from before. Sometimes it's about what they may have invited in, without fully understanding how to send it back. This next video was recorded by a man who has been documenting what he describes as an increasingly aggressive haunting inside his home. And by the time this footage begins, he's already terrified before he even reaches the bottom of the stairs. It started with smaller disturbances, noises in the night, his dog refusing to behave normally downstairs, a growing sense that whatever was in the house was no longer passive. He blames the spirits for recent bad luck in his life, including a car accident. And on this particular night, he grabs his phone and heads downstairs because something has set his dog off again. Watch.
Nouvelle vidéo, on entend du bruit, mon chien s'est énervé d'un coup. Devient catastrophique. Les esprits deviennent agressifs. Oui, j'arrive, ma fille. Et pire, c'est qu'ils me partent la poisse. Là, il y a 2 jours, les gendarmes m'ont rentré dans la voiture. Elle était devant chez moi, mais la voiture est épave. Beaucoup de chance. Beaucoup de chance. Et l'excuse, c'est le café avait une poussière dans l'œil. Vous y croyez, vous? Ben, moi, malheureusement. Oh putain, c'est quoi ce bordel encore, putain. Ça fait que ça, c'est incroyable. On essaie de trouver des solutions, mais rien qui marche. Cherche, mon chien, cherche. Il y a quelque chose? Oh putain. Ça devient bizarre. What the... Oh putain, ça m'a piqué. Ah. Putain, c'est quoi ça? Mais c'est quoi ce délire? C'est quoi ce délire, putain de merde? Oh là là. Putain, c'est quoi ce délire? Putain de merde. Ça devient n'importe quoi ce baraque. Si vous avez des idées, des conseils. Ah, des idées, des conseils, je suis preneur. Honnêtement, ça... Oh putain, c'était quoi ça? Oh fuck off. Oh sa mère. C'était quoi ça, putain? C'était quoi cette merde? Fille. Ah, putain. Ah, fille, qu'est-ce qui t'arrive? Non. Non. Mais non. C'est quoi ce délire? Mais c'est quoi ce délire, putain de ça? C'est quoi ce voix de sa mère? Putain. Sa mère.
He claims to feel fingers pressing along his spine, then shouts out in pain as the camera lurches violently, as if something struck him. Then it got worse. The television switches on by itself, blasting loud, dramatic music into the dark room, and his dog stands near the glass door, with her tail tucked, too frightened to move. He uses the remote to shut it off, but within minutes, it turns back on, this time changing channels and raising its own volume, while the remote sits on the floor in front of it. Some viewers immediately pointed to poltergeist activity, a term used to describe a type of disturbance associated with physical force and object manipulation rather than a simple haunting. But the man's response to all of this is what makes the second clip even more unsettling, because rather than leave, he keeps confronting it. Watch.
Prochaine vidéo, j'ai décidé de me battre contre cette chose malveillante.
Horrible. Ça fait un moment que j'ai pas fait de vidéo, mais là ça empire. De jour en jour. Des marques, des griffes. C'est insupportable. Putain. Ah, c'est toi qui me fais peur. Alors, il y a quelqu'un? Putain, c'est insupportable. Putain. Putain, c'est quoi cette merde encore? Non, mais c'est pas possible.
He descends the same staircase again, speaking in a tense, hushed voice, saying things are getting worse day by day. Marks, scratches, unbearable. His dog startles him in the dark. Then a loud bang erupts from somewhere off camera. The camera whips sideways, and from inside a closed toy chest, a child's musical melody begins playing on its own. He opens the lid. The music cuts off the moment he slams it shut. For some viewers, a toy activating inside a sealed chest with no one near it lands differently than anything electronic. It feels deliberate, like something announcing itself. And if that's true, the question isn't whether it's still down there, it's whether it ever planned to stop. Now in this next clip, A man is riding his motorcycle alone down a dark, isolated road at night, heading to a wedding, when something on the roadside stops him cold. At that hour, there's usually nothing to see except the road ahead, so when something appears in the distance, it immediately stands out. Watch.
Fuck, man. Oh, fuck, bastard! Oh, shit! Oh, shit, man! Oh, shit, man! Oh!
As his headlight stretches forward, it catches the outline of a figure walking along the road, tall, pale, and unnaturally still in the way it carries itself, not reacting to the approaching motorcycle, not stepping aside, just continuing forward, like it doesn't even acknowledge him being there. And that's where it starts to feel wrong. Some viewers believe what he encountered could have been a ghost, the kind often described in roadside sightings, figures that appear briefly, usually at night, sometimes tied to past accidents or tragedies, known to show up without warning and disappear just as quickly, leaving the person who saw them questioning what they just experienced. So if you were riding down that same road, alone, and that figure appeared in your headlights, would you slow down and try to understand what you're looking at? Or would you keep going and not look back? Now, in this next video, a man claims that every single night when he returns to his home, something is already there waiting for him, and he decides to prove it. The building itself looks abandoned in stretches, a barrack-style structure at the end of a dark gravel path, lit only by a single street lamp overhead. One night, he hears footsteps like someone running around the house. Shortly after, this happens.
So I'm gonna set up my camera here. Watch down the hallway.
Some viewers believe this kind of activity points directly to a poltergeist, but until more updates are shared, this remains unsolved. In this separate video, she's at home, filming herself in bed, visibly shaken and crying after being woken up suddenly in the night. She keeps repeating that it's in her house and that it's coming for her, her voice panicked and exhausted, like this isn't the first time it's happened.
It's the middle of the night and I just got woke up again. It's coming for me. It's in my house. The noises are coming from the kitchen. Listen. That's the noise that wakes me up every night. It wakes me up in my dreams. It wakes me up from my sleep. I have to catch it on camera.
She turns the camera toward her bedroom door, and from deeper in the house, loud banging noises can be heard coming from the kitchen area, heavy enough to echo through the walls. She explains that the same sounds have been waking her up repeatedly at night, leaving her afraid to sleep. The combination of her fear, the unexplained noise, and her connection to the earlier footage makes the situation feel far more serious than just a random disturbance. Later in the same video, she leaves the bedroom and moves into the living room, right beside the kitchen, trying to steady her breathing while still recording. Her breaths are deep and shaky, like she's trying to calm herself enough to face whatever she thinks is there. The camera slowly turns toward the kitchen, and that's when she points it out.
You see that? There's a shadow in the corner of the kitchen. I know I'm not seeing things. I know I'm not. I know you guys saw that. I'm going back out there.
A dark, shadow-like figure can be seen standing inside the kitchen area, not moving, just present. She whispers that it's there, her voice trembling but certain, and the shape appears to match the same dark figure seen earlier in the forest footage. It doesn't approach or react, just remains in place, which somehow makes it feel worse. She insists she isn't imagining it, staying close enough to film it clearly, convinced the presence from before has somehow followed her home. Later, she's back in bed again, filming herself through tears, her face fed up and exhausted like she hasn't slept properly in days. She flips the camera around and asks viewers if they can hear it too. At first, it's faint, but there are clear speaking noises somewhere in the house, low and distant, but unmistakably voice-like.
Do you guys hear that? No one is home. My sister left for the whole weekend. Who is that? Who is that in my house?
She slowly leaves the bedroom and walks into the main living space, the camera shaking slightly in her hands. The sounds become clearer there, taking on a womanly tone, saying strange, unclear things that echo through the room. What makes it worse is the situation she keeps repeating. She is completely alone in the house. No TV is on, no one else is there, yet the voice continues, filling the space while she stands there recording, crying, and trying to understand who or what is speaking. As the video continues, she explains through a state of deep distress that everything has been getting worse, and that she hasn't told anyone around her because she's afraid of how it sounds. Her voice is tired, defeated, like she's been carrying this alone for too long. Then something happens that completely breaks her composure.
It's getting worse, and I don't be able to tell anyone or go anywhere because I don't have anywhere to go, and I don't have anyone who's believing me. At first, it was my sister, but now I hear my mom, and she doesn't live here. She lives on the other side of the country, and I just called her, and she's in her own home. She's not here right now. So who is that? I've gone through the whole entire apartment. There is no one else here but me. No one else.
From somewhere in the house, she hears a voice calling out hello, and she freezes. She says it sounds exactly like her mum. The problem is, her mum is at her own home, nowhere near the house. The familiarity of the voice makes it more disturbing than anything else so far, because it's not just a random sound, it's personal, precise, and impossible to explain, leaving her standing there in shock, trying to process how something could copy someone she knows so closely. It simply makes no sense. At this point, she seems more determined than before, still scared, but trying to confront whatever is happening. There's knocking again, this time coming directly from her bedroom door. It's slow and deliberate, not random house noise, but spaced knocks that sound intentional. She calls out, asking who it is and what it wants, her voice shaky, but louder than before.
It's back again. It's back again tonight. Who is it? What do you want? I know you guys think it's a prank or something, but it's not. It's not. Something else is here.
In response, the door handle shifts and the door creaks open on its own, inch by inch, slow enough to make every second feel stretched out. She forces herself to get up and walk toward it, camera still recording, and looks behind the door and into the hallway. Nothing is there. No movement, no person, no explanation. But somehow that makes it worse, because now it's not just making sounds or showing shapes. It's physically moving parts of the house, interacting with her space while remaining completely unseen. In one last clip from the woman, she is seen leaving her apartment building and heading toward the car park, still recording as if she doesn't feel safe moving alone anymore. The area is dim, lit only by scattered lights, and she keeps scanning around as she walks. Then she zooms in toward her car, and that's when viewers notice it.
I was just walking out of my apartment, and look. You see that? You see that shadow? It's following me.
Behind the vehicle, partially obscured by shadow, the same dark figure shape appears to be standing there, still and silent, matching the form seen in the forest and inside her home. It doesn't move, but its presence alone is enough to make the moment feel heavy. Whether all of this is a coincidence caused by lighting and angles, or something far more real, no one can say for sure. What I do know is you should subscribe for more videos like this. The Midwest ghost hunter is back again, continuing his exploration of the same abandoned factory where he's been documenting some seriously unnerving encounters. For anyone new, he's a solo investigator who's been visiting this building for weeks now, and every single time the activity seems to ramp up even more. This latest clip only adds to the mystery.
Are you working? Dude, it sounded like footsteps up there. Like hard, heavy footsteps. Oh my God. My heart is racing. But as you can see, there is no one up there. Is it all right if I come up there? Am I authorized? Could you make a noise to let me know? Shoot, well, I'm coming up anyway. Hope you don't mind. Oh gosh, these stairs are steep. Oh. Oh, jeez. All right, I think I'm gonna try a spirit box session up here. See if I can communicate with any of the workers. If there's anybody up here, I got a device here that you can speak through. Could you speak to me? Damn, it is dark up here, guys. This is what I'm seeing, just to show you. Pitch black. And I gotta carry this spirit box in this camera, so I ain't got a light. Whoa. That was a man's voice right there. Are you saying your name? Who are you? Whoa.
As he's walking through one of the upper levels, he suddenly hears disembodied footsteps climbing the metal stairs ahead of him. The sound is loud, clear, and paced just like a person would walk, but there's nobody on the upper section at all. He stands at the bottom listening, calling out and asking if he's allowed to come up, and the footsteps immediately stop. He asks whatever's there to make another noise to confirm he is allowed up, but the entire building goes silent. Since he doesn't get an answer, he decides to go up anyway, climbing the metal steps with his night vision helping. At the top, he pulls out his spirit box, asking directly for a sign that something is actually with him. After a few bursts of static, a voice comes through clearly saying, "Eddie," followed by another message that sounds like they lost their balance into Ian's equipment, almost like someone was standing right next to him, explaining what happened. Between the footsteps, the direct responses, and the eerily personal messages, this might be one of the most convincing moments he's ever captured in that factory. The following video was recorded by a man who works night shifts at a construction site in the middle of nowhere, a place so quiet that even the smallest sound carries for miles. But lately, he's been noticing something he can't explain, a voice, one that doesn't sound human, but doesn't sound like any animal he knows either. Listen. At first, he assumed it had to be a cat. Stray cats often wander through empty construction zones, and some of their cries can sound disturbingly human. But when he went out to check, there was nothing there. No movement, no glowing eyes in the dark, nothing. What makes this even stranger is the timing. He says it happens almost every night, around the exact same hour, like clockwork. The sound begins suddenly, continues for long stretches, then stops, just as mysteriously as it started. In paranormal lore, there are entities often described as wailers, spirits believed to express themselves through crying rather than appearing visually. Some are said to be trapped in a place tied to their final moments, repeating their grief over and over. Others are believed to cry as a way of drawing attention or drawing someone closer. And in cases like this, witnesses often say the most terrifying part isn't seeing something, it's hearing it, knowing it's there, but being completely unable to find it. Before you decide what this might be, listen again. Whatever was crying that night remains a mystery. In this next clip, a man records a video to send to a medium because he's run out of explanations for what's been happening inside his house. Strange movements, reflections that don't match reality, and the constant feeling that he isn't alone. But after watching this footage, even someone with no paranormal background would immediately recognize the source. Watch carefully.
Empecé a grabar porque hace unos días yo sentí que había algo. Realmente yo estoy solo ahorita. Pero hace rato vi en ese cuarto como que una sombra. No sé. Bien. Ahí se ve algo. Ay Dios, yo realmente estoy solo. Bien. Está completamente solo. Solo estoy yo. No se puede meter nadie aquí por la puerta. No, realmente estoy solo. Ni debajo de la cama, de hecho el espacio es muy... Bien. Ahí se alcanzó a ver algo. Si pueden ver, yo estoy solo. No hay nada, no hay nadie. En casa. No hay nadie. De hecho, hace días yo compré este troll porque se supone que aleja toda energía negativa. Pero ya lleva varias noches pasando esto.
As he walks through his home, a human-shaped figure can be seen moving in reflective surfaces, especially mirrors. They don't appear clearly, but you can see the form pass by. And then, moments later, it disappears. The movement doesn't match his position, and there's no one else in the house. Some believe mirrors and glass can act like thin barriers, places where entities can appear briefly without fully entering the physical space. And when something shows up repeatedly in reflections, people start to question whether it's simply passing through or already inside. But then he mentions something else. A troll he recently bought. He explains that the object caught his attention because it was said to absorb evil energy. Objects like this are sometimes referred to as spiritual vessels, items believed to attract, store, or interact with unseen forces. And ever since bringing it into the house, the activity seems to have intensified. It's easy to see why most viewers immediately connected the two. Some of his friends believe the figure might actually be the troll itself, not physically moving, but spiritually active, carrying out the purpose it was meant for, cleansing the space. But others strongly disagree. Whatever it is, it doesn't stay in one place, and its repeated appearances suggest it could be dangerous, feeding on energy, or even trying to manipulate the household. But I'll let you be the judge. Is this a protective spirit doing its work, or something far more dangerous? Now this next video circulated over 15 years ago, and to this day, it still unsettles people who've seen it. One night, a group of teenagers decided to break into a funeral home, a place most people wouldn't even feel comfortable walking past after dark. Funeral homes are quiet by design. They're places where bodies are prepared, preserved, and kept overnight, sometimes for days. And many believe that when someone passes, whatever part of them lingers doesn't always leave immediately. They began recording, expecting nothing more than an empty building. But what they captured was absolutely terrifying. Watch.
The fuzz is here. Stop. Cops over there. See him? Focus.
Now that you go in the back here.
Alright, dude, let's just go. I don't think he's looking at us. Let's go. Dude, it's a sensor light. It's a sensor. Don't worry. Just give it a nudge.
Break it? Holy shit.
Nice! Alright, shh.
I don't know about this, guys.
Don't be a weirdo. Dude, let's go in here. Yeah, let's check this out. Shh. Hold up, let me get a night shot. Oh, it is a night shot. Go. Yeah. What the f? Oh my god. This is scary.
It feels colder in this room. It seriously feels
Dude,
colder.
I can feel that.
Dude,
that's
this place
nuts.
is haunted. I'm telling you, this
It
place
smells
is
different.
You smell those flowers?
It smells
There's
like
not
an
even any
old
flowers
person's
in here.
house.
It's freaking crazy. Dude, did you see that?
What the fuck? Dude, you see it? I saw that. I saw that.
What was that, a tissue?
Fucking man. Let's get out of here. No way that happened.
At first, everything seems still. Then suddenly, something moves beside the lampstand. That moment alone was enough to send panic through the group. They were already backing away, ready to leave, when one of them made a decision that would make things worse. He walked further inside, hoping to find something, anything, that could explain what they'd just seen. Instead, this happened.
That tissue tripped me up.
Dude, what
God. Let's get the f out of here already. Why are we here still? What are you doing, man? Let's go.
Come on, let's check this out.
You're the only one out of place.
No way, that's just a coincidence.
Did you get it? Did you get it on tape?
Well, yeah, I think I got it.
This is f***ed up.
No, man, let's get out of here. I'm tired of it. What the f, man? Dude, what is that? Jeremy, where'd you go, man?
What the?
Fuck out, go.
Crazy.
God damn
Why are we
it.
going downstairs?
We didn't
Just
have
go,
a
just
friend
go.
upstairs. Shit. Just look for the eggs in a window or something.
Oh, this is great, man. Just fucking great.
Let's get away out of here. Let's get out of here.
Let's go. Just look around for a window or something.
Maybe over here.
Look.
Fuck, dude.
Oh my God.
Nothing. Turn around. Other way. Let's
right.
get the f out of here.
Holy shit.
Whoa.
Funeral homes hold more than silence. They hold the last physical presence of people who were alive just days earlier. And workers in these places have quietly shared stories for years. Unexplained footsteps in preparation rooms, doors opening where no one entered, and the heavy feeling of being watched when alone. Some believe places like this carry residual energy, especially in rooms where bodies are kept overnight, where emotions from families, grief, and death itself concentrate. Till today, whatever caused all these remains a mystery. The following video was recorded by a woman named Simone during what was supposed to be a normal evening walk. On her way home, she passed a strange building she'd never paid attention to before. The place looked abandoned, quiet in a way that didn't feel normal. Even from outside, she couldn't shake the feeling that someone was inside, watching her. The anxiety hit so suddenly that she didn't even stop to question it. She just left. A few evenings later, she passed the same building again, and this time she heard something that stopped her cold. A voice, and it sounded exactly like her sister calling her name. Watch.
I don't know why the lights are on, but I'm going inside of this house. I just heard my sister's voice, and I'm sick of this. And I need to figure out what's going on so I can put a stop to it. The fuck? Why is this chair in the middle of the floor?
Mimicking entities are known for doing exactly this, copying voices of people you trust to lower your guard and pull you closer. They don't need to show themselves right away. The voice alone is enough. The moment she entered, she noticed a chair sitting in a strange position, like it had been moved recently. And before she could even finish explaining what she was seeing, the figure appeared, briefly, but enough to confirm something was there with her. After that encounter, Simone tried to convince herself it was tied to the building. But soon after, things started happening in her own home. Banging sounds at night, footsteps when she was alone, whispers with no clear source, and an overwhelming feeling of fear that would come out of nowhere. One day, a friend came over after hearing everything, and this happened.
Hey guys, it's Simone again.
You kidding me?
Yeah. So I'm here with my friend Lexi, and I thought that this was over, but it's still happening. Something from this entity is still trying to get to me, so...
I thought you were kidding.
No.
Like, this is horrible.
I'm not kidding.
I don't know how you've been living like this. This is literally, like,
I've checked this door 5 times. There is no way anyone is in the backyard.
Yeah. So, still going on, and I just wanted to come back and report to you guys that it's still impacting my life every day.
I'm so sorry. This is insane.
Here's the unsettling theory. If the activity followed Simone home, then this may not be about a haunted location anymore. It could be attachment. When something fixates on a person instead of a place, it's hard to walk away from something like this without answers, but Simone isn't ready to stop investigating until she understands what's happening. The following clip comes from a family living near old gypsum and coal mining land, right on the edge of the Appalachian Mountains, in a home that's been passed down through generations. This isn't some new place with no history. Their parents lived there, their grandparents lived there, and it was always considered part of the family. But lately, it hasn't felt that way. Some days, the house is completely normal. Other days, things happen that no one can explain. Footsteps when no one's moving, voices when no one's speaking, and the constant feeling that something else is inside with them. One afternoon, things escalated. Watch closely.
What'd you hear?
I heard a help or something.
On the back porch?
There's one back there.
Okay, hold on.
And then it's like I heard Lila's voice say it, and then I heard Dad just say hey, and I didn't do anything about it because I don't know.
Sissy's voice?
Yes. And then I heard some whistling.
I need you to, okay, alright. I'm gonna stay upstairs because Gunnar is freaked out. He's freaked out. Alright. It was loud and it was Lila.
I heard Dad's voice just say hey.
Yeah. So there's 2 different voices on the back porch. I'm not opening the door. I am upstairs with Gunnar right now. There's nobody out there, Michael. There's nobody out there. Okay. Alright, I love you too.
The little boy suddenly reacts to his father's voice calling out, but his dad isn't home yet. He's still on his way back. His mother immediately senses something isn't right. She didn't open the door, and she didn't check outside. Instead, she gathers the dogs, trusting her instinct that whatever called out wasn't him. Then she hears this. Listen carefully.
Oh my God. Why is my door opening?
A voice clearly says, "Help," and then the door starts shaking violently, like something is trying to come in. Then this happens.
Don't. Oh my gosh. Tad, Sarge, get over here, baby. Come on. My house is really dark. Tad, leave her alone.
When she says, "Look at the dogs," viewers noticed something disturbing in the background. A faint voice saying, "Don't look, they're mine." That's when people began connecting the pattern. First, it mimics the father's voice. Then it uses distress, saying "help," to trigger a response. Then it uses possessive language, "they're mine." And finally, it tries to force entry. This isn't a random activity. And in regions around old Appalachian mining land, stories like this aren't uncommon. Folklore often speaks of entities that don't show themselves right away. Instead, they imitate, they observe, and they wait for recognition. Because once you respond, once you acknowledge them, that's when they get closer. So what do you think? Is this house truly haunted, or is there another explanation for all that has happened? In this next video, Kyle, someone who's already dealt with one strange incident after another, is still trying to figure out what, if anything, connects all of it. Just when things seemed to calm down and the activity finally stopped, a new puzzle surfaced. Listen closely.
Listen. There's a voice coming from under the floor again. It's cold out here. This hasn't happened in a while. Okay. Close it back. I don't get it. I mean, things were quiet. They were,
What makes this unsettling is how much it sounds like children playing inside his crawl space. Laughter, footsteps, faint giggles, all when the house is otherwise completely silent. What makes it worse is the timing. Kyle says he'd finally had several quiet days. No disturbances, no strange sounds, nothing to suggest whatever had been bothering him was still around. He started to believe the activity had passed, that maybe it really was over. And then this happens. Some people who follow Kyle's experiences closely say that when things go quiet, it isn't because whatever's there is gone, it's because it's waiting for the perfect moment to show itself again. Others speculate that whatever's causing this could be hiding in the crawl spaces or attic corners, places most people never think about. Small, tight areas where something could lurk, unseen, listening, maybe even feeding off the energy in the house. The very idea of something unseen pacing in crawl spaces or above your head at night is enough to make your skin crawl. Kyle is hoping this was just a one-off incident, a fleeting echo of what's come before. But after everything he's already experienced, the noises, the moving objects, the whispers that have followed him from room to room, it's not something he's willing to bet on. He knows better than anyone that whatever is in his home doesn't just go away. And for viewers watching this now, you can almost feel it. The quiet is never really quiet. Something is still there, just out of sight, and it's only a matter of time before it decides to make itself known again. Now this next clip was captured by a doorbell camera, and when the footage was revealed, it left viewers absolutely stunned. Watch closely. In the video, a shadow runs, but there's no one around. Half the people who've seen this are convinced it's paranormal, suggesting it could be a shadow entity or some residual energy replaying in that space. Others argue it's just a reflection, a trick of the lens, or some kind of glitch. But as always, I'll leave it to you to decide. Could this be a harmless shadow, or is something far more unsettling creeping around unseen? The following video was recorded by Ben Bauer and Zach Bryant, who returned to an abandoned factory they had previously explored, a place already surrounded by disturbing rumors, including reports of paranormal activity in a history tied to tragic events. including suicides that many believe may have left something lingering inside the structure. As they approach the building, preparing to enter, something immediately feels off. Watch.
Of course, there's energy walking in together. That's a switch. That's footsteps down the stairs. That's going down the stairs. That was too cunt. Hello? Hello? Zach. Oh my god. That was walking down. It was. Hello?
That's it.
No, that's walking. Bro, get out. Right, no, that's walking.
Before they even make their way inside, they begin hearing footsteps, clear and deliberate, as if someone is already moving around inside, despite the building being completely abandoned. Eventually, they find a way into the building, pushing further inside to investigate, but the deeper they go, the more the atmosphere begins to shift. Strange noises begin to surface, subtle at first, then harder to ignore. Watch.
I didn't hear anything.
Check the footage when we get over.
Oh, what the I can't remember if things were like this when we were here.
No, I don't think they were.
Bro, look at the water. That was mumbling. I just said,
Yeah.
Oh, I got it on camera. Bro. I'm getting it on camera.
What is that walking?
Something's mumbling. Can you hear it? Is it? Bro. Bro. I feel like someone is here.
Yeah, very now.
Wait.
Don't you know?
They call out, trying to confirm if someone else is inside, repeating themselves, waiting for any kind of response. But the silence that follows feels just as unsettling as the sounds themselves, because whatever is there doesn't answer. It only listens, and that's when they make a decision that many viewers immediately questioned. Instead of backing out, they decide to provoke a response. They bring out a Ouija board. Watch.
Feel that heat as you walk up.
Oh yeah. I reckon did a Ouija board in this room. Yeah, this looks. Knocking? Yeah. It sounded like boom, boom. That was knocking.
Was it?
Bro. Are there any spirits here with us tonight? Move to yes. There it is again. There it is again. What the f*** is that? Bro, that was down here.
Using a Ouija board in a location already tied to death and heavy history is something many consider extremely risky, because rather than simply observing, it opens the door to interaction, inviting anything present to respond, to engage, to make itself known more directly. And almost immediately, something does. They begin to hear movement again, but this time, it's different. The sound of something running up the stairs, not walking, but running towards them. They didn't stay to find out what it was, and honestly, it's hard to blame them. because when something starts moving toward you in a place that should be empty after you've actively tried to make contact, instinct takes over. Most of us wouldn't have waited either. This next clip centers around a moment that likely would have been dismissed instantly if not for one thing: the camera capturing it in real time. A young boy in a wheelchair is moving through what appears to be a quiet area, casually recording, with nothing unusual happening at first. Nothing that would make anyone expect what's about to appear. Watch. At first glance, everything seems normal, but when you look at the mirror behind him, a white figure is seen moving. Some viewers believe this could be a classic apparition, a presence that doesn't fully manifest in the physical space, but becomes visible through reflective surfaces, something that has been reported in various paranormal accounts, where mirrors seem to act as a kind of window rather than just a reflection. Without this footage, without that one moment captured in the mirror, this would have remained just another story no one believed, something easily brushed off or ignored. But now there's something to look at, something to question, and something that still hasn't been explained. Now in this next clip, a man and a woman had just finished saging their home and decided to go live on social media with a group of friends. Something that started as an informal spiritual cleansing, but quickly turned into something neither of them was prepared for. The house was completely dark, the only light coming from the glowing ember of the sage and a small blue electronic light nearby. And the mood, at first, was relatively calm. The man even says on camera that he doesn't feel anything dark in the room, but then the sound started. Watch.
I don't feel anything dark in here. Do you? No. It's probably because we're not like. Please leave. Or get out of here. You're not welcome here. Oh my God. Gotta leave. Should I say Jesus?
Yeah, I don't even know at this point.
We have Jesus here with the... Where's my keys? Okay, let's go. You go first. Go. Look where Look where it's at now. It's behind the couch. Y'all see that? It's behind the couch. Look where it's at, in front of the mirror. Look. See the mirror? It's in front of the mirror now. Turn all the lights on. Turn that light on over there too. I'll turn it on.
A sharp metallic clatter at first, almost dismissible, followed by an extremely violent crash, erupting from somewhere off camera, loud enough to make him yell out and grip the phone. He held his ground, addressing whatever was in the room directly, telling it to leave, even asking if he should call on the name of Jesus. And then, mid-sentence, a heavy thump cut him off entirely. That second sound, the one that interrupted him, sent him running. Both of them left the house for over an hour, but here's the thing. When they came back and unlocked the door, The sage stick, which had been sitting near the blue light in the center of the room, was no longer there. If you look carefully at where it's glowing, you can see it's now positioned near the mirror. Some believe this is a direct response to the spiritual cleansing, that invoking protection, especially through religious invocation, provoked a reaction rather than resolved one. Others think the object moving is the more unsettling detail, because it suggests something wasn't just making noise, it was interacting. So what do you think moved it?